And really the main reason that drove me to this is this Miku skill 3, which is I guess is written completely wrong, or I'm just somehow misunderstanding it, because as it states that during these extra actions that Miku gives, they're not counted as actions, number of actions taken, but however they reduced the cooldowns of buffs, debuffs, and continuous effects, specifically saying that. It doesn't really say what it's referring to, but assumedly it's referring to the character, because the debuffs on the enemy do not take down because they have not taken the actions. The buffs on the enemies do not take down because they haven't taken actions. But then when you look at certain characters on your own characters, they also don't take down, but some do. So it's then become very inconsistent. So now I'm kind of confused. And before you freak out, I'm not calling for nerfs. In fact, I'm calling for a buff. I think every buff should last throughout the entire Miku SP. I think that's interesting. I think that's because some don't. That's what I have a most issue with. So today, I'm going to show you some of that, investigate it, and not only that, but show you some of the other inconsistencies the game also has. And this YouTube video right here, the discovery from JP, different to Asia and also different to SDA. Asia as in CN and TW and those other Asian countries. For some reason, Japan is on the same schedule as global. We're on action 79. The twins do their mega button attack. The boss breaks, finally. We're getting the twins action again. Right. They're able to once again button. They do the Mega S3. Now just skipping the turns, through the turns again. Blah, 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 blah. You do your actions. This is that until the very last action. Because twins are last. See here that they skill 2, and then all of a sudden they pop their Mega S3 again. So something you're only supposed to get basically once per battle. There's a 10 action cooldown. 9 action cooldown. And you can see they're flashing briefly action 90, meaning that this rotation took them 18 turns. And the reason why that works is because of this. Because of Miku's A1, which is when virtual console is active, reset all highlight cooldowns, apparently, or maybe it's like this or something, apparently the skill 3 is just resetting the twins' True Desire as if it was a highlight or something for some reason. Which True Desire is their A6 ability that lets them do like a huge hit. It's supposed to have an 8 action cooldown, which you can manipulate that by pressing the one button and letting the cooldown run down. Be able to use it, and then letting the cooldown come back, and then using it again in specifically DoD. But for some reason, if you wait even more, then Miku can reset it. That doesn't seem right. And even if it's a nerf to the character's ability, first of all, it's not even that much of a gain, because twins damage is not the most relevant thing in the world. But it's also just it's a buff to the player's time. Like, this mechanic, this kind of exploit is not respecting your time to do it at all. Now here's a more in-depth showcase of Miku's buff extension inconsistency. And this applies just to her base kit, so this is her skill 3 as effect. So we're going to use the skill Tails with Breath from Yukari. You're going to see that's going to be here for 3 turns. 2 turns for the damage attack percent, and 3 turns for the damage reduction. Now we'll use the Mikado assist. You can see the 20% attack lasting for 1 turn. When I got on Mikado, pass the turn. You can see, scrolling through his buffs, the assist has disappeared. But if you look at Tailwind Breath, it is still at 3, 2, 2. So now Akihiko, he will assist himself. He will pass his turn. Well, I forgot to show you beforehand this is, but as you can see, the assist here, 20% crit multi, he just gave himself still here, 1 turn, but Makoto does not keep his. I can show it off again, that Universal Theoria that I put on Makoto. As you can see, 2 turn, 2 turn, I guard, 1 turn, 1 turn. But Tailwind's Breath, still 3, 2, 2. Okay, now we're going to move on to the interactions of Wonder and his personas. Alright, so here's a description of Yanosik. At the start of battle, inflict a mark on one foe. When any ally attacks a marked foe, increase attack by 20%. However, on the description, it does not show the attack. And 20% attack is a very small buff, it just does not show, but it's very inconsistent and hard to tell whether or not this actually, the mark actually gives attack. One part we care about is when attacking a foe, decrease the target's defense by 9% for 2 turns increases effect for each of target's elemental ailments up to 4%. So right now, we're looking at the enemy. There's 4 debuffs. There's no elemental ailments. We're going to attack the enemy. We have 1 stack of Power of Creation, which is the Arc Knife, but we do not have any elemental ailments, but yet we still are able to get 1 stack. And if you did not know, the stacks stack independently, so as you can see, we have 1 stack where I have Power of Creation. Now we can attack the enemy again with Wonder. And we'll actually receive 2 stacks here. We now have 2 stacks of Power of Creation, one lasting 1 turn, the other one lasting 2 turns. Each time an ally uses a skill of a different attribute, so we grant 1 stack of 4 gods. Okay, currently our 4 gods count as 2 because Twins just did an almighty hit and we also did a hit of S1 on Makoto. And now we're about to use the Twin skill, which will be Fire and Ice element. How many 4 god stacks on Cory do you think this actually gives us? Well, let's see. So we used the skill deal dealt with Fire and Ice damage. We see here on 4 god stack, we actually gained 0. This means we did not get a stack for the Fire element because we already had Makoto do his skill 1. And we did not get a stack for the Ice element. That's because the secondary element of a skill does not actually count towards the stacks. Here is the skill description of Jikokuton. After using a skill on ally, increase the main target's attack by 15.5%. Here is the description of all in. And we just care about the after using a skill on ally, restore 20% of the main target's max HP. I'll just show you we use a Jikokuton skill. We just both heal and we apply the attack up. And it will show here 15.5% as the attack up, lasting 2 turns. So if we were to highlight now with the Jikokuton onto Leon, okay, and you can see he got the heal from all in, even though it wasn't a skill, and he now has attack up, 15.5%, which he didn't previously have. I demonstrated it on Leon because he had less buffs and it was clear to show, but this works on any character. Now with Dionysus, I'm going to highlight. So we see on Makoto has too many buffs again. All the way on the bottom, so it's fine. It's like Makoto doesn't have the any of the stuff, right? We'll Wonder highlight with Dionysus. I mean, you can always verify this yourself in the game too. So we got the damage up from the highlight. This is the highlight, but you see here at the bottom here, we do not have the Dionysus. Do not have 30% crit damage. The Ex Machina dagger. Basically, it should be able to equipped at the start of battle. So we have Dionysus equipped at the start of battle. Increase the damage of that attribute by 34%. So we see here, over boost the Psychonicus damage by 34%. Yes. And then 40% for other allies. Definitely a translation error because this number is in blue. The number does not increase with the refinement, which means this does not mean 40%, damage. It means 40% of the 34%. So it equates out to about like 13.5-ish percentage. So you can see it over boosted 13.6% Sandalphon here says when Sandalphon is present, increase your allies by 25%. Not present, increase your allies by 15%. Same kind of wording structure as Ex Machina. As you can see, if we shield an ally, we get the defense up of 28%. 28% being this number right here, because Sandalphon is currently on the field. But if we just pass Wonder's turn here, with Dionysus equipped, there we go. That number changed down to 4.2%. Right, not 15%, but 4.2%. Reason being, okay, I'm no longer on Sandalphon, but that means it was 15% of 28%, not 15%, which is again terribly worded, and I don't know why you would ever word it like that, or why it would ever be like that. If I were to go through all the interactions in the game, the video would be like an hour long, but those are the ones I could remember and the ones that I think are important and key. So now we're moving on to the interactions with the characters, starting with Leon. This has to do with his skill 3. Free stack of the power of friendship, the target has increased attack by 20% more, up to 1578.9. So that's the number to remember. So we're going to apply some powers of friendship here. Okay, so now we use Ultimate Booster on Makoto. I'm gonna highlight. So now we have 2 powers of friendship, and we have 15 with the max stack with the power of friendship. So to demonstrate the attack losses a bit more clearly, we have this attack number here, we have 2 power friendships, and this attack number here. Leon does a skill 2, which shouldn't lose us any attack, but in fact it does. We lose a lot of attack actually, as you can see. On to the next, we have Chord Highlight. So if we use Chord Highlight, now this is the highlight buff. It says it lasts permanently. There's currently no display for highlights that last per action, and the Chord Highlight is the only highlight that specifically here says that for 4 ally actions. Right? They're the only highlight that has this keyword. Only working with Turbo. So we're on Makoto's turn right now. On Turbo, we'll highlight onto Makoto. We'll go fine. Highlight gives attack and gives damage royalty and a down point reduction when attacking foes. Highlight lasting 2 turns. If we guard. And as you can see, the highlights on Turbo did not reduce their cooldowns. They have 1 extra action. I think this is pretty well known. This is on Luffy the Nets. I think this has been known for a long time. I think this is intended. It's just not said anywhere in the game. Okay, currently Lilith has a debuff Cover of the Night. So here it says Lilith gains 1 Cover of the Night stack each turn, which decreases your final damage taken. When a shadow with Cover of the Night takes damage from a skill, remove 1 Cover of the Night. Specifically says skill. So now if we go to Yukari's Theurgy and we Theurgy on Lilith, you can see that actually completely removed Cover of the Night. Completely. Even though it was a Theurgy, not a skill. On top of that, if we wait until the following turn, so on this turn, a turn has passed, but you can see Lilith did not actually get Cover of the Night back. Even though it says each turn, Lilith will gain 1 stack, it's actually each other turn. So the following turn, as you can see now she has it back. Cover of the Night. Maybe a little bit late to mention, but honestly I don't know how to fucking pace this video. It doesn't. But I want to preface that I understand mistakes are made. I play a lot of live service games, and obviously there are glitches, codes break, people make mistakes, whatever, that's fine. What matters is that the live service games, they take the player's feedback and they will improve the game. And so yeah, I'm going to present to you some things that in the past that actually have been fixed. And some of these are extremely egregious, and you can understand how they were immediately or very fastly fixed. Before we had the ability to down enemies, the ability to crit, we had a stable domain. This is crit rate and crit damage are converted into final damage instead of actually working like crit rate and crit multi usually does. So this particular passive, when dealing critical damage with skill ignoring to 20, did not used to work on Ryuji until now. It did not used to work because you couldn't actually trigger a critical hit. Similarly, Venus A2, which gives her 10% element accuracy stacking for every time an ally has affected an elemental ailment. This did not work. In MLB and NOD, it specifies that you need specifically a healer guardian, medic guardian type, or in NOD a sweeper assassin type. Twins can fulfill all those roles, however, on their initial releases, Twins could not actually replace those characters in the role. They did not count until a week after it was patched. Previous weapons for consuming cocktails will give you provided some of these buffs, but these buffs used to not refresh properly. Sometimes when you were using your max amount of cocktails, you will not be refreshed by these weapon buffs, and sometimes you will be missing out on the crit rate, the damage multi, or the attack. Some of them have been changing, one including Throne, which is to say, at the start of battle, inflict one random foe or burn on one random foe for two turns. It used to say 1 burn every 2 turns, which is incorrect. Koryu simply didn't work. This passive simply didn't work for the very longest time. I didn't demonstrate this, but this Bishop Mushin passive, when using a skill on foe for each elemental ailment on target increases nuclear damage taken, this works if Bishop Mushin highlights. And also apparently told it works if Wonder guns as well. I don't know why you would gun on Wonder, like for this isn't like for this persona, maybe it's stacked multiple times. I'm not sure, but and one of the funny shit that ever happened was actually both things, two things. To closer and to Melchizedek deck is passive, and Melchizedek deck usually give like 100 damage multi instead of whatever it is now. It's like 20, 24 or something, like 100 to 200 or something. Some gorgeous number, just a complete wrong number of stats. And there was also a period where the closest skill 3 scaling just completely broke. Right, she was just able to do like completely broke the like global was able to completely break the damage display cap, which is crazy. And that is where I will leave it, as to not make the video too long. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something, and good night.